What is the difference between Lightroom, Photoshop, and Camera Raw? Well, let's start with Camera Raw. If I take a raw image and I drag and drop it into Photoshop, it's going to open that image up inside of Camera Raw. With Camera Raw, I can make tonal and color changes very quickly and easily simply by moving the sliders around. Add a little saturation, brighten up the shadows, add in the blacks. You get the idea. It's very easy to use. And at its core, this is exactly what Camera Raw does. You drag one image in, you make some changes, and you open it up. And that opens the image up inside of Adobe Photoshop. Now, if you wanted to, you could open up multiple images at the same time. So for example, I'm going to select these three images, drag and drop them, and that's going to open the three of these up inside of Camera Raw. We have one image here, and one image here. I can make the changes individually, or I can select them all and synchronize those changes so that each of these images gets the exact same settings. This is very easy to do batch corrections. For example, wedding photography. You set everybody up and you just keep shooting while swapping out the people that are in the picture. But as long as the lighting is the same, this is a very quick and easy way to work. You can then either open the images inside of Photoshop, or you can save each of these images out as JPEGs or TIFFs. But largely consider Camera Raw simply as a one-off type of thing. One image in, one image out. While you can do multiple, as I just showed you, at the very most, you're doing limited batches. And once Camera Raw has been closed, whether you open, save, or simply finish, those group of images are gone. They're still on your drive, but Camera Raw doesn't remember what you did or didn't open the last time. Now, when it comes to working in Photoshop, these are simply one image at a time, but you're allowed to make much more complex selections and changes within individual images. Once they're open, you make changes, color and tone, and then you save them for whatever your need is. But again, Photoshop is one at a time, details. Processors like Lightroom allow you to handle images much in the same way. However, it'll handle much larger batches at the same time. It'll also allow you to catalog images and handle your images in a much more professional way. Very quickly to show you, if I were to drag and drop this entire folder, I've just grabbed a folder, I've dropped it into Lightroom, and now it is going through and it's just going to grab all these images that are inside of this folder. I'm going to click Import, and very quickly it goes through the folder, it sucks in all the images, and it's going to give me thumbnails of each of these images so that I could see what I have. Inside of this folder, I have a bunch of images. Under this section of Library, Lightroom works as a DAM system, Digital Asset Management. Basically, it allows me to catalog these images and keep track of them based off of folders or collections and color coding and giving them keywords and doing all kinds of management-specific tasks. But another thing I can do is take one of these images and open it up inside of the Develop module, which is basically a raw processor. So within Library, I have access to the folder structure as well as keywords, metadata, and things along those lines. Once we go into that Develop module, suddenly it changes over to a raw processor, and the navigation and the menus change. Now, if you notice over here on the left, we have some presets. And these presets allow us to simply click here and click the image, and major changes are made. Basically, all these presets are doing are changing the color and tone sliders from this side of the dialog. Here we have the color temperature, the tone, and saturation, clarity, and such. And we also have curves and a bunch of other things in here. And many other options are in here. But the thing is, all of these settings are the same as in Camera Raw. The difference between Lightroom and Camera Raw is simply its library function as well as its export functions. As you notice up here, we're allowed to export to books, slideshows, prints, webs. So with all that, simply you can select your images and tell it to output with different settings. whether it be for print or simply exporting JPEGs or TIFFs. So clearly this allows us to do a lot more than simply Camera Raw. So to consolidate this thought, the difference between Lightroom, Photoshop, and Camera Raw is this. Lightroom allows you to do batch corrections to multiple images either at the same time or individually, but you can export them all out at the same time after you've gone through all the images. It also allows you to do keywording, metadata, and other library type functions for your images. Camera Raw has the same backend function as Lightroom. You can make easy slider selections for tone and color, but it is the export function within Camera Raw that is limited. However, if the work that you're doing is one at a time, Camera Raw is much easier to use. Many of my students are happy to leave Lightroom and head over to a simpler workflow that Camera Raw allows for. And lastly, Photoshop allows for much more detailed color and tonal adjustments, making masks is easier and much more intricate. With all that said, the real difference between a RAW processor and Adobe Photoshop is the complexity and amount of time it's going to take you to make changes within your image.